Going on? April 17th, 2013. Talking shit. Bringing my shit talkers to you here. We have got... Boom. We've got Comic Lizard and Jada Geek. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Also have... Mr. Havoc. Bienvenido.
Hello.
Sound like we had me in the background.
Temporarily.
Yeah, we watch it on our big screen so we can actually see, even though there's a little bit of a delay, because, it's hard watching it on my phone. But we forgot to turn it off mute because we were watching some of the Critical Drinkers reviews of a few things.
Oh, Mario?
No, until Josh dropped the controller, we were watching the John Wick one, and we watched the Marvels, his thing about, because the trailer dropped for the Marvels. We watched his idea on that
goodness.
One. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm down to see it just because it's got a whole bunch of cats in it.
Oh. Fun. All right. Well, what's going on with you this week, Havoc?
Just here, waiting patiently for Amazing Las Vegas to come by next week. That's about it. Just working a lot to get some extra money.
Oh, got to get it funded, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what I could sell.
How's that going? It's not as good as it was before, huh?
That's all right now. I sold a couple things.
That's cool. That's cool. Glad you're able to get hopefully, it's crazy is you got to fund the time, right? Are they going to have any exclusives or anything there that you're going to be able to use to?
No. I'm more for I'm going to get a lot of signatures. Because it's a big, it's a nice lineup. They got a nice lineup this year out there. So,
speaking of a nice lineup, we got a nice lineup tonight. We're going to be adding to the stream the Fuzztastic himself.
Hello,
juice
ladies
box.
and gentlemen. That's right.
Instant diabetes for Fuzzy.
I'm not going to die in one piece. I'm just going to lose fingers from my diabetes. So what are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen?
I got a little unboxing I could do.
Talking about saving up money for your amazing con.
Oh, yeah.
I won a contest. I'm in a Star Wars group that pretty much operates in Britain. So it's a dude named Randy Rancor. So I did one of his raffles, which I never really have too much luck in. And honestly, I always feel like they're kind of rigged or something. But one, and he's always got raffles going on, so I was like, he invited me, I'll do one. Just see what happens. And I won it, so that was cool. I didn't even know which one I had won. Once I won, I went and dug in a little bit deeper. But I picked up a little murder bear.
A murder bear?
An Ewok.
Oh. What Star Wars movie was that?
Does it have cocaine on its nose?
So he's acrylic. It's in this acrylic, and acrylic, if you don't know how to open it, man, you can bust it. Let me
Nate loses an eye. What the fuck?
I'd have just cracked it and let it. I'd have
Good
Jack
grief.
Burton that shit.
No, not Jack Burton. You're gonna. What's the guy that air? What's the guy that blows up?
Oh, no,
Thunder?
just Thunder.
Thunder.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're gonna thunder that where he grabs the gun from Jack and he punches it. It just like disintegrates in his hand.
I know, with all this over the top acting.
There it is. Good grief. All right, Murder Bear. Ewoks. You just love you, Liz.
No.
Are you guys gonna go see the re-release?
Is
At
a
the
bear
end of the
shit in the
month?
woods? Didn't I see
But it's the special edition, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to see that shit. But I want to see Hayden Christensen and be reminded of the beginning of the end. No.
I just want to be there. One of my all-time favorite scenes in film history is when he walks out. You know, they're about to fall into the pit. He's like, Jabba, this is your last chance. Free us or die. And basura. And in Spanish, that means trash. So he's like, yeah, he said, throw him in the trash. And they fucking do, you know, the music kicks in, the lightsaber flies through the air, he catches it, and like hair stands up on my arm. I love it.
Oh.
Who is it?
That's
Oh,
dope.
the one
This is
with the coin.
Rumba.
Rumba.
This is one of the last 17 with the coin. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Did he made that acrylic thing or whatever?
I'm not sure where the acrylic came from.
It's not graded, right? Because the graded ones kind of look like that.
Yeah, it's not graded, but it's cool. Sadly, I have one figure left to have the entire vintage line of these Star Wars figures, and kind of hesitant to buy it. Plus, it's an expensive one, so
Is it the
it's an
droid?
expensive one, and I had it before. No, it's the Poncho Luke. One of the last 17 ones.
Poncho thing?
The one that he's wearing when he's on Endor.
On the best Star Wars movie of them all.
No.
That's right. We had Ewoks.
The reason
We had
one of the big reasons that I don't want to go see the re-release of Return of the Jedi
Thanks so
is
much.
primarily because I have the theatrical cut on DVD. I don't need to go and see the newer trash when George started losing his mind.
Yep.
Just jaded, man. Just jaded.
Well, look,
Welcome. You're getting a little taste. Little taste of my life.
you guys have to understand. You have to understand, and this has been explained on this show before, but for those that are newer and haven't seen it,
You're
the
weird.
whole reason
If he was a Smurf, he'd be grouchy.
The whole reason that I'm jaded is because of the Star Wars prequels. They broke me.
So true.
I never recovered from that.
You know what it
That's
is?
been most of our marriage, so
Yeah, well, I mean, because Phantom
he
Menace,
was happy when we were dating.
Phantom Menace came out a month after we got married. That's how long ago that goes.
I
Now,
already said yes, and then George Lucas
hang on.
fucked me with that. So
to be fair, I tried. I waited in line overnight to buy tickets for Phantom Menace, and I saw that movie 7 times in the theater.
it's true.
7
You
times.
wanted it to get better?
I kept trying to understand it, to absorb it. I'm like, I can't.
I almost got
I
skin
don't-
cancer because of that movie.
I don't.
Waiting outside.
I couldn't
Okay.
understand why I didn't have an affection for it the way I had for the original movies. And so it wasn't clicking. And so then the next movie comes out. Now, you know what? I waited in line overnight
To get tickets
for those
and
tickets
to get
and
the-
overnight again to watch the midnight showing. I only saw that movie in the theater 3 times for Attack of the Clones. And I said, you know what? I know that these aren't clicking, but he's going to bring it together with the 3rd movie. Revenge of the Sith, I waited in line overnight for those tickets.
No, we didn't wait for the tickets.
No, I did.
Oh, that's
because
right.
there were only 3 other people in that line, though.
Yeah.
And then I waited in line overnight to watch Revenge of the Sith, and I only saw that movie one time. That's all it took, because I was like, he really fucked it up. He really did.
I liked the Revenge of the Sith. That's the only one out of the prequels that I liked, was the third one, because I finally got to see the fight. You know what I mean? That they did. And like, I mean, okay. Again, this is Fuzzy with his big heart and, you know, cheesiness and stuff. But like scene, the scene that everyone makes fun of, where he's like, "You were the chosen one." I was fucking bawling in the theater. I was like, "Fuck."
Of course you were.
This is it. I can't believe it and shit. So,
and,
I mean,
the only thing that kept me from basically slitting my wrists at that time was the fact that simultaneous to the crashing of the greatest sci-fi movie series of all time was the fact that we got the Lord of the Rings movies from Peter Jackson. And that supplanted it and replaced it as the all-time great for me. And that kept me from just driving off a cliff. But it was, you know, at that time, the Marvel comics were already going down the drain. I quit collecting comic books at that time. It was a pretty dark period, and I was in a state of confusion for like 4 years after that. Just like,
I can see the screen curl.
Wandering around.
It's a dark time.
He was just walking in the desert, lonely, doesn't know what's going on.
But Riders on the Storm.
The final piece that solidified it for me, the thing that made me realize that I wasn't crazy for not liking the movies, was when I saw Red Letter Media's breakdown of the Star Wars prequels. Those were simultaneously hilarious and devastating. And it was cathartic for me to watch those. And that's when I knew.
He got a little spring in his step after that.
But that's also when I knew that Jaded was my destiny.
Was born.
When they forged the mask of Darth Vader, the sunglasses of the Jaded Geek were placed onto him, and Liz fell to the ground and went, "No!"
Yeah.
But of course, now in the present age in which we live, the jaded guy is not the crazy one. The crazy one is all you motherfuckers that keep watching this shit. I'm just a normal guy from 20 years ago.
There you have it.
Well, I think I still have a little bit of that normal guy in me, but you know, that nuttiness.
I didn't hold the. I didn't like the prequels very much either. But what they didn't do that the sequels did was make Luke Skywalker into a bitch. And as much as the prequels were, they still had moments that I felt like, as a whole, didn't feel like like it was real Star Wars, but there were still moments where I felt like that was real Star Wars. That was real Star Wars. Like, but the other one, it was just, it was 100%. It was just, it didn't feel like my characters. It was just brutal. It was brutal. And then after Ruin Johnson, raped my childhood, I had to take a shower after I watched Last Jedi. It was brutal.
There were. I agree with you. There were pieces of the prequels that were still like in the realm of being Star Wars, and I agree that the prequels mostly didn't take a shit on what came before. Mostly, I think they really fucked up Yoda in the prequels. I think they did him dirty.
By doing CGI or by
because of his character. When we meet Yoda when he's hiding on Dagobah, we find out that he went there because he's a dirty rat and ran away from Palpatine, literally hiding in the air ducts like a rat. But not only that, the thing that killed it for me was when he fought Count Dooku. And, they have a contest in the Force, and Dooku is equal to Yoda. so they got to break out some sticks to beat each other with. I'm like, this is bullshit. Yoda is supposed to be beyond lightsabers, but George is so in love with his computers and his graphics and his money and the electricity and all that shit that goes into it that he had to do a fight with Yoda where he's jumping around and springing around like some crazy, spazzed out, cracked out mini cocaine bear with a lightsaber. And
Count Dooku was badass, though.
Well, look, Dooku is good because he's a new character, right? We're seeing him for the first time. We're impressed with his abilities and his fighting skills. But Yoda was terrible. That everybody was raving about that fight scene, and I loathed it. I think it's one of the worst things that we've seen until the sequels came out. But I didn't
think it was that bad. What I loved was to me was the best portion of all the prequels was when they did the order, and then the kids were like, "What's going on?" And next thing you know, they're all dead, and they're like, "Yay!"
Yeah, I know, but Hayden Christensen is a terrible Anakin Skywalker and a terrible Darth Vader.
I don't know. I kind of on the Obi-Wan, I kind of liked what he did there.
No, the Obi-Wan TV show was utter trash. It was even worse than that. It's hard to imagine that they could fail that hard, but they did it.
Well, I didn't say the whole series, but I said he didn't do that bad.
The thing is when they announced that Disney was going to buy it, just to let you know, I thought that Star Wars was dead for me, but when George sold it off, I thought it's out of his hands finally, and we can get another group with some people that love Star Wars that are going to fix it. They're going to fix it. Man, was I wrong? Oh my God! Look where we are! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Well, the movies, yeah, but the cartoons, they did all right.
But the cartoons are based on a flawed premise. It's really hard for me to get into the Clone Wars knowing what they're based on, knowing that was the beginning of the end.
We'll get there.
Anybody watch
Baby
Mandalorian?
Steps. Baby steps.
Yeah.
I forgot to watch. I forgot to watch it, dude. I
watched it.
We did, yeah.
And now they're saying tomorrow. They're like, oh, not tomorrow, Wednesday. Oh, you want something? Here we go. They're gonna bring it on Wednesday. They said
they're gonna kill him, and then Bo-Katan's gonna take over.
What I heard, did you hear? I finally was listening to what they were saying at Star Celebration was that Mandalorian is supposed to mean any one of those characters. You know what I mean? It's the Mandalorian. And so, but they're saying what they're doing is they're building up to something, and they're going to make the final season a movie. So it's building up. Well, so whatever's going to happen is going to tie it up into a feature film to make you go pay for it and stuff.
Well, yeah, no, they're trying to finish it off with, they're trying to get everything together at the end from what they're doing with, since Clone Wars. That's going to be the finale. Like they're trying to go with Thrawn and everything at the end.
Film Age is entirely correct. The episode was trash, but really this whole season's been trash.
You're out of your goddamn mind.
This was a miserable shit episode where now Bo-Katan is taken over. There's no point in
exactly like the Clone Wars and
the Clone Wars have been over for like 30 years, and
it doesn't matter. The whole story is based on that. It's based on the Rebels and Clone Wars.
And I would like to say that this episode confirms my theory that Baby Yoda is actually a serial killer and a psychopath, because now they've given him a friggin' assassin droid as his battle armor that he gets to walk around in. I'm telling you, he's a murderer. He's a murderer. He's got death on his mind.
See, I'm hoping he turns to the dark side. I want him to go to the dark side.
I'm hoping for Jaded's version. I want Jaded's version. That's what if I find out if they twist it like you're saying, he goes to the dark side and he's a fucking murderer. So I'll be like,
they're gonna
shit.
They're gonna kill the Mando, and then they're gonna and he's gonna see it, and then he's gonna turn to the dark side.
See, I thought on this last episode, you know how they Moff captured Mando, right? I thought when he was getting beat up, I thought when Baby Grogu was on the other side, I thought he was gonna be like blow up the damn door and go crazy. I was hoping for that, like don't mess up, basically 'cause that's his dad, basically. So I thought he was gonna go crazy and start bringing out the Force and being evil, but I was like, oh, what a missed opportunity. They're just like, oh no, run away. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Well, speaking of missed opportunities, Film Age has got it right again that Moff Gideon is such an incompetent boob that he didn't blow up the Mandalorians when he trapped them inside those two doorways. And even more infuriating than that is that Bo-Katan has the Darksaber the whole time, but instead of digging a hole in the front door to run into battle and save Mando, instead she retreats with the rest of them like a bitch. Like a bitch. And so now what we see is that the Mandalorians aren't worth spit against CGI stormtroopers. Lame.
It's building towards something, man.
What? Building toward one episode?
It's gonna all.
This
is like, look at. I'm hoping it's like Kama Sutra. You know what I'm saying? When you're having sex, and you're just building it, dude. You're just like you're getting it there, and then all of a sudden,
you got 4 minutes to explain bring it to Kama Sutra.
It deflates, and then all of a sudden it pops back up again, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting there. Wait, and then that last episode is gonna go, and then we're gonna lay back, fucking fire up a cigarette.
That's a theory that makes sense because that means the Jack Black episode was like the butt play portion of the conversation.
And that's when you shrink. You see, that's when you shrink a little, like, you know what I mean? But then, like, hopefully now, like, the head peaked up with, like, yeah, look at you and shit, dude, I'm just, that's the way I look at it. It's like they're building it up. If it comes to the end and then they just, like, pinch the end and don't let us fucking, go, then I'm with you, Jaded. I'm with you. Next episode, we'll find out if I released.
Well, it's supposed to be released. That's the hope. They've been saying that since what's it called? The Star Wars thing, the show. They've been saying that the last episode is gonna be fucking amazing.
That's what I mean. They're building towards something. They're building towards it.
Look, they haven't really built toward anything. All the episodes have basically been standalone garbage. Even Liz ain't.
It's all building up to Thrawn. That's basically what it's going to.
What, Thrawn, the one that they originally threw away because they threw out the entire expanded canon? Get the fuck out of here, man.
What are you talking about?
I'm sick and tired of
they're not using the original Star Wars extended universe. Of course, they're cherry picking everything. They gotta bring Thrawn.
This is how I imagine how they decide which characters they're gonna bring in from the expanded universe, right? It's like the little like the little gumball machines, but it has like a little toy inside or something. But they just throw it in there and they either put their quarter in and then they turn the dial and they're like, okay, this is the new character we're gonna pick, or it's a claw machine or something, and they whatever comes
it's
down.
The bingo thing.
Character.
It's the bingo thing with the ball spinning, and they're like, "Come on, Thrawn!
Exactly.
Come on, Thrawn!"
Here
it pops out.
Go.
Thrawn!
All right.
Like, come on, Thrawn! Darth Jar Jar. Oh,
right. That's what
I'd pay for that.
Imagine they do, like in the writing room. Oh man, we got to come up with something quick because good old Kathy's getting pissed at us. let's break out the machine.
I've never worked in a room for Star Wars, but in most writers' rooms, like whoever the producer, like that's always been my problem with a lot of producers is that they're not fans of the work or they don't really like believe in it. They see the dollar amount, you know what I mean, or something like that. Like that's what they see. When you get with a guy that like someone that's a director that wrote it, and they're producing it and shit like that, like they'll tell you certain things that need to be in there, and then you just kind of got to make it work. Right. And, I think that's why the first season of Mandalorian did so good was because Favreau was literally by himself. Like, he was like, they were like, go make this thing. Because it wasn't with any characters that were, known. Mandalorian was kind of just like, he just went with made it up. And same with Grogu. Like he had to go have fun with it. Then when it got popular, they were like, we're taking the reins of this thing and we're going to start putting stuff in there. And that's when we started getting all these little like Easter egg stuff, for people to go nuts for on the internet. And, you can't, as a writer, it sucks. because you get blamed for it, but you got to do your job that you're paid for.
No, you don't.
You know, so
quit.
I don't know. I have a okay. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this one. So one of my buddies that me and him trade comics a lot and stuff like that. He does a lot of CG work for big movies, and he to this day will never see the first Avatar or the second one, because that was about a year and a half of his life. And he was talking about like how he was trying to, because they let him design stuff. And then when Cameron saw it, it was like a certain thing and he lost his mind. Like he was saying he was the worst person to work for and stuff like that. And so I started laughing to myself and I'm like, I wonder how many of these people who worked on Star Wars or like worked on one of these franchises, like the Russo brothers, you know, they've publicly said it after Infinity War or whatever, the Endgame. Like that was it for a long time, because they were just like, they didn't want to deal with it anymore. Like they just wanted to go out and make stuff instead of having someone over them like nitpicking every little thing. So I wouldn't.
We were watching this last episode because it had like what they called was it the Dark Council or the Quiet Council or some shit like that, where all of the admirals that are still part of the Empire are there when Moff Gideon walks into this room and there's all these holograms. Well, they have Hux.
Yeah, General Hux
was one of them. And they didn't even get the actor to come back, and Josh was like, I don't understand why. And at first I was like, well, maybe there's a year gap or he's changed. And then I thought to myself, no, he probably is like, I don't want to be associated with Star Wars right now.
Yeah, they fucking humiliated
because
that guy.
Everything is just like screwed up.
That was his dad, is what they said.
Get it.
Film age, I agree.
The brother of the actor plays Hux, and it's Hux's dad. That's what the interwebs say.
Is that what the interwebs say?
Interwebs say.
What? Okay. I don't think that's the case. I think that's because not enough time passes between now and when the First Order sets up. And he's in charge of he's in charge of the flagship. So
well, I don't know. Luke is super old by the time the sequel starts. So, and he's definitely not old at the time that Mandalorian is taking place in.
Yeah, but this is supposed to start up the new world order or whatever.
I think there's probably like a 20-year gap. It could be Hux's pops.
That's what they're saying.
Huh.
And the actor is the other actor's brother.
Interesting.
Is it though?
He lost a bet at Christmas, and he was like, "You're taking the fucking job." That's right, dude. You're taking the job.
Like, look, man, my brother doesn't want to come back, so you can't make it like that Hux, but you can make it a different Hux.
He said, "Look,
I'll do it."
He said, "Look. He's 500,000. I'll do it for 2,500. Boom."
That's right. And I get my Screen Actors Guild card.
That's right.
Anyway, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to see it because there's only one episode left.
I wonder if there's anything
Might as well
behind what Lewis is saying here. More
Shocking
shocking than
the Red Wedding. Oh shit! I don't know, man. The Red Wedding. Again, you guys know my opinion on sandals and swords, and when that happened, I literally. There's been 3 times in my life where I've woken my wife up at midnight. Out of nowhere, like, you need to see this shit, like, you know, like wake her up. And that Red Wedding was that one. When they shanked her, I went positive. I ran upstairs. I said, holy shit, it's going down. So if Mandalorian gives me that, dude, I will call all of you. I will FaceTime you and be like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, but the thing is,
I can't wait for
was
Wednesday.
largely solid when the Red Wedding happened. Mandalorian has been jack shit since that. So if they have a Red Wedding in the last episode when there's been no plot so far, who cares? I mean, at this point, if Mando dies, I could care less. It doesn't matter.
Oh man,
I would actually be impressed if they killed Grogu. That would be impressive.
I
would probably stand up and clap.
That would be crazy.
Dude,
but that would never happen.
Yeah, I know, because he's their cash cow.
Cash cow, yeah. But I would be so impressed if Grogu, he starts fighting because if Mando freaking dies and Grogu gets all crazy and then he dies also, I'll be
Like,
nuts.
the internet would, the interweb,
It would
as Nate says,
explode.
it would blow up, dude. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think the world can take that. But if they threw us that curveball, like, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
that would be
hey,
great.
they would win. They would win so many brownie points with me, and I like Grogu. Like, but it's just that's that's a good way to tug on my heartstrings.
I think they need to do something with him. I think they need to. Nothing that Josh would say. They need to like have him get wet or some shit, and then go into a cocoon and wake up and be able to talk.
Well, I think honestly they're gonna try to push for Ahsoka, like the Ahsoka show to kind of take over, because I think it looks good. Like, I was like, oh shit, this actually kind of does
That
look
still
good.
looks badass.
And I don't know that much about the Clone Wars or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but even just watching that trailer, I was like, oh, I'm down. I was like, that looks cool. That's like a Jedi's, hero rise. I like that. That's the hum I need to hear every episode.
It was good.
Ahsoka looks like it could be good.
Rebels was good. I found things to like in all of it except for the sequel trilogy.
What about?
I was even snookered after Force Awakens. I was like, it's kind of redundant, but it seems like it sets up some stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's like lubed your asshole up for the raping.
Yep.
Horrible.
What do you guys think of Daisy coming back as the new Jedi Master?
Why?
I don't
Why
really care about that.
Why you gotta wake him up before we're supposed to go to bed?
That was the worst portion of the whole thing. Like, they were giving us some good stuff like the Old Republic and all the other stuff. Like, okay, cool, I'm down. And then when they say this, when they're like, oh, we're bringing back Daisy, like, why? Like, I thought it was gonna be the end. That was like the last portion of it, and we're done. And I'm like, how is she gonna be a master? Like, she couldn't even. I was like,
Daisy Ridley's gonna be like the William Shatner of the Star Wars universe, where like she tried to break out and to do other stuff, and she couldn't do it because nobody trusted her acting except for in Star Wars. So she has to keep coming back to the Star
I'm
Wars.
I'm calling the scene right now. Daisy walks out into the desert. She puts her hand up like this, and then you see the dirt moving. It's like Excalibur pops into her hand, and she's like, "Let's do this." And then she walks out, and then fucking kick ass.
I saw somebody put up screenshots from the trailer or something that came out, or maybe from production stills where she's pregnant in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, so this is my thing, Steve.
She's a new Force baby.
These are the people that are behind all of Star Wars. That's why you can't trust that they're going to do right in The Mandalorian. That's why things like Andor was a fucking fluke. That's why the Book of Boba Fett sucked. It's why Obi-Wan Kenobi sucked. It's why all of it is just awful. There's like little hints here and there, like the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, where you kind of get something that's like halfway decent. But the reality is that these are the crazy fuckers that are in charge. They can't give us anything good because it's not what they want to do.
Yeah,
you know what I think it is? I think it's like the DCEU.
The difference is the movies are done by the big corporations. Like the Mandalorian stuff, I trust Favreau and what's his name?
Filoni.
Filoni, yeah, I trust them. So, they're not doing. Those two guys are not doing the movies. They're doing the small screen. I'll take care of that. I mean,
they brought us
the whole Daisy thing. I already know it's gonna suck. People already know it's gonna suck.
They brought you Andor.
They gave us the Praetorian Guard from The Last Jedi in this last episode of The Mandalorian.
You got it, but you got to remember, in Obi-Wan, as bad as you didn't like it, they gave us Vader fucking torturing Obi-Wan, dude. Like, that scene to this day is still one of the badass scenes that I've seen in some of these shows, where he's just burning them and he's fucking throwing them all over the place. I'm like, dude, that was fucking metal. That was metal as hell. Like, I forgot the whole show except for that scene. Like, that's the one scene that always sticks out in my head.
Saw Vader's actual power. Like, he was
He was badass.
Fucking ships and everything, and like, I would have been awesome if they showed him more.
But the one thing I got excited for about the whole celebration thing was when they talked about Andor season 2 coming out, and they said that it's literally the last episode is going to tie directly into Rogue One. So they're going to say so the second season will be the final season of the show, and like to make it the trilogy is Rogue One. So I was like, that's fucking badass, dude. Like, I can't wait to see how they pull that off.
It's gonna be good. I hope.
You liked Andor.
I did, but I don't trust him.
Oh, God.
I don't trust
Gotta
him.
have faith, my man. You have to
Faith
have
in
the
what?
force inside you.
No.
The goodness.
No.
Let the green saber fly out, not the red one.
I stand by my statement that there hasn't been anything really good from Star Wars since 1983.
No, because you said you liked Andor, so shut the hell up, you liar.
Yeah,
It's not as good as the original.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
matter.
still like
You
it.
said
It's
you
not
liked
as
it.
Still good,
like
though.
it.
Still
You
good.
Not
liked
as good
it.
as the
Oh,
original.
we're not.
It doesn't
we're
matter.
not debating that. We're saying, but you still like Andor.
You still
There-
liked it,
something
so you
Of
can't
all
say
the new Star
There's something
Wars,
good that's out.
right? But it's also a character that's dead. He's
and you enjoyed a
And we
couple
know-
of first
we
seasons of
know-
Mandalorian, so get out of here.
We know that Cassian Andor is at no risk in his own TV show because we know how he ends up.
Okay, stop putting on the negative stuff. Like you liked,
I'm
but
just
you
pointing
You
out.
I
liked
know
it, so
you're
you
just
can't,
pointing
you can't
it out. It's not
erase
like you
it.
don't
Sorry.
realize that, but the reality is that you do like something post.
They
Uh,
did. They did a
Return
far.
of the
They did. They
Jedi.
did a far better job with Andor than I would.
You,
expected.
Sure.
can you get a replay and go back to some of the
Yeah, we're gonna have to go back and watch it over again.
Because I
You were
want
like,
that, and
you
I
actually
want
had
to
a smile
on
and
each
you took your
show.
glasses off
Sure.
and all
I'm
that
not-
stuff.
I'm not denying that. I
Okay,
enjoyed
then.
that series, but then once it's over, then I remember who's in charge of
It
it.
doesn't matter, but you still enjoyed it.
It
so.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Of course, it matters.
No, but
Star Wars is trash, and you all
And
know
you
it.
enjoyed
And
it.
you're only
You-
protesting
you
because you
liked
want to
it.
believe that it can get better, and it won't. It's going
It will.
down.
It
It's going
it
down
has these
fast.
little nuggets of
Get-
like good stuff.
get
that's
ready.
out.
It's like the
Brace your
DCEU.
buttholes.
I don't think that they know what they're. I don't think that they know what people are gonna like and what people are not gonna like. And I think, much like some friends that we have on the channel here, when there certain people who are in charge, they want to be right so much that they won't admit that they're wrong, and they'll do some dumb shit like doubling down on Daisy. And
Daisy's horrible.
I remember you loved Daisy. I remember when we found out she had a twin sister.
You must be.
I remember when they found out she had
because
a twin sister. You were like, "Oh my God, there's two of them."
what the fuck are you talking about?
There's a shot. I have a shot.
What
Was
the
that-
fuck are you talking about?
Was that not you?
Let's all keep in mind that when She-Hulk came out, in the beginning, Steve was all about it, swearing that it was going to be great. And then it
No,
turned
I
into
did not
total
say nothing
bullshit.
about something gonna be great. Get the hell out of here, then.
Hey,
Yeah, now
you wanna
you're
make
rewriting
replays?
history. Sorry,
Hey, let's
just
do an
because you like
episode.
Star
Episodes of
Wars,
She-Hulk. I promise.
just like you like
Nate-
Star Wars. Yeah,
Nate, I'd say the next episode we should get some clips of people saying that they love shit and then they change their mind, and we call the episode the replay episode, and we just put,
Yeah.
you know, like,
yeah. Show me
like-
where I said I love Ray, motherfucker. Show it right now, because
I
It's like hours of footage. Show it right now.
I admit that about the She-Hulk thing. I liked it until towards
Me
the
too.
end. I was just like,
No, I didn't like it.
Fuck. I think me and Liz were the ones that
We
were
were
like
the only
rooting
two that,
for
like,
it.
liked it.
yeah,
We were
I didn't
rooting
like
for
it.
it.
The rest of us didn't like it. No.
Yeah, I you know, when it got to the end, I went,
because you
that sucks.
I didn't say I was 100%, but I could have sworn I thought you were saying like, "Oh, there's two of them. Oh, I'm in love." I thought you said that, but
no. Yeah,
Hey, I finally
old age is
fucking-
catching up, my friend. That memory of yours is going because I ain't never said that before.
Oh my goodness.
could have been a different person wearing a MODOK shirt,
No.
and not MODOK himself.
I gotta see John Wick this weekend, dude. That was fucking.
Oh, that was fantastic.
See, dude, like, you know what? Okay, look, it was totally fucking awesome. Like, as far as like action and shit.
Yes.
it went above and beyond of what I wanted it to do, like 110%. The movie's 2.5 hours long. Okay, it's like 2.5 hours long. Keanu Reeves says, "I'm not." I swear I could have counted it. 30 lines in that whole fucking movie.
Oh,
That's
no,
all.
yeah, you're right. Story wise, it didn't really have that much of a story.
It was like this, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
razor fucking thin. But the beauty of it was they disguised it with all the shit. This action,
all those
that
kills.
There's literally like, what's the that myth or the tale about the guy pushing the rock up the hill, and then it keeps coming down. Prometheus, thank you, dude. Not Prometheus. That's the
not
movie.
Prometheus.
Prometheus
is the rock up the hill.
And then it gets to
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus. Okay, so they literally do the kung fu version of that, dude. It is legit like 30 minutes long, like just nonstop fucking fighting, like in all these creative ways. And my favorite thing in the whole movie, as weird as it's gonna sound, is Keanu Reeves and nunchucks. He is badass, dude. At one point, he fucking takes the nunchucks and he does the whole, fucking spin, and he's whooping this guy's ass. It goes onto a table, and he just continuously just goes, bah, 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 bah. It's just beating the fuck out of him. Then stops, pulls a gun out, shoots this guy, and then keeps going, bah, 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 just beating the fuck. I was like, oh, bravo. Oh, hey. I don't care. It looked legit, dude. Like, it may be CGI, but I'll pay all the money for fucking seeing that shit over again. Like, it was good, but like, as far as like,
story wise, they didn't have that much.
Yeah,
story.
That's why I love John Wick 1. John Wick 1 is like one of those, again, like freaking nature movies where it's like, it's about a dude, like technically they kill his dog and he goes after people. Okay, like I remember seeing the trailer for it, and even Fuzzy was like, this looks stupid as shit, dude. Like, what? His fucking dog died and now he's killing all these people. When it got to that scene, Fuzzy is literally just bawling, dude. Like, you better kill every one of these motherfuckers, dude. They deserve to die. Oh my God, like,
yeah.
It was just a good
story.
Movie. Like, yeah, like it was all around good. And then you get to the second one, you go, okay, like there's a little bit of story. And then the third one, there was barely like a leg. Okay, yeah, it kind of moved along. But this one, it was literally like, let's just put John Wick and have him just kill people. And you're like, all right, cool, fucking. Like, it didn't even bring his character up or down. Like, he stayed in a straight line the whole way. He was just continually fucking thing. But I took the kids to see it. And remember I was telling you guys,
Cocaine Bear was fun.
Yeah, cocaine.
You're correct, Rio.
Two different types. But my kid, we went and saw it, and my kid's been he's been writing a movie for Freddy versus Michael Myers. Freddy versus Michael Myers. And so we were talking as we're walking out. He looked at me and he goes, Dad, you know what we should do? And I said, what? He goes, forget Freddy. He goes, let's do John Wick versus Michael Myers. And I looked at him and I was like, that is fucking brilliant, dude. The boogeyman killer versus the boogeyman. I was like, that shit is awesome. So be on the lookout, ladies and gentlemen. We got to figure out how to make Fuzzy look like Keanu Reeves and shit, dude. It's like,
that's a lot. That's $1 million CGI. Like, all the world.
Look, all I need is a wig. I just put a wig on there.
Yeah.
Look,
Jesus Christ.
Fuzzy, you got a better chance of playing Cocaine Bear, frankly.
The actual bear.
The actual bear.
I'm going to do it. Watch, dude. I'm going to call my stunt double buddies, and we're going to pull it off, dude. And fucking have, like, John Wick coming home, and all of a sudden, fucking Michael Myers. He came home
after, like, 40 weeks in rehab after all this cocaine and alcohol and everything.
That's why he got fatter. That's why John Wick got fatter. He was getting off them drugs.
Another unboxing.
Don't pull out any dildos or anything.
Woo! Oh no, those ones stay in the bag.
Doesn't work.
True story.
I got this from.
I have to ask him. Hey, honey, was it a dildo or a no dildo day? Was it a no dildo day or dildo day today?
It was a no dildo day today. However,
No dildo day is always a good day.
It was a 2 sex doll day.
Oh, there you go.
Is it the blow up ones?
No, it's just the torso with the butthole and the vagina.
See, I've always thought that shit was sick. Like if I was at a sex shop and someone bought that, I'd be like, this guy's a serial killer. Like nasty motherfucker just wants a torso.
I am currently supplying a very large contingent of serial killers.
Oh man.
Yeah.
If you guys out there watching this have one of those, I'm not saying you're a serial killer. Please don't come and get me. Please.
Fuzzy can be found at Amazing Fun.
Cocaine wick. That would be awesome, dude. People keep asking me if I'm on rehab. Yeah, I'm on rehab.
What was in the box, Nate?
What's in the box? I got some books.
Muppet.
Creo, it's I'm at 1620 Nowhere Lane.
Arkham Dreams.
Okay, that's cool.
Got that for $1.
That's nice. That's the is that JD cover right there?
It's a convention special, isn't
This
it?
one is.
That's a JD cover, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I got these all for $1.
Oh yeah, there's the Torpedo Con one.
Ooh, I like that cover.
Yeah, this is $4.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I follow Jimmy. I got those right before Fuzzy got on the stream a couple
And I
days
started
ago.
buying.
Those are pretty good pickup. Especially for dollars.
Yeah, not bad, right? They
Yeah,
weren't
and,
necessarily in my wheelhouse, but they were like, dude, I was like, well, those are like $20 books, and I was like,
And then Jay Lee shows up always in WonderCon, so you can get it signed if you ever next year if it comes back again.
yeah, for sure.
I got that Spawn cover that day from the Amazing Comic-Con one that always goes for good money. I got it for like $5.
Got another one too. What is this?
That better not be a book.
It's not a book.
No, right?
It's not a book. It is Millennium Falcon decals. Put that back together. It's a Muppet.
Like Egg Shan.
I got a Millennium Falcon restoration video around the corner here. Are you guys going to Las Vegas Comic-Con?
I got a booth there, ladies and gentlemen, and you can come
in 2 weeks.
and hang out with
next
Greg
week.
the Hammer Valentine at my booth. No one else's booth, my booth. Hang out with an old school wrestler and hear some old school tales of getting your ass kicked in the squared circle.
We
Why is it called a squared circle?
I've always thought that was funny. It's the same reason, because they call it a ring. So a ring is circular, and then it's actually squared, so it's squared circle.
Yeah.
we ran into a store out here that you would love, Fuzzy.
Oh, I saw that picture you sent us, dude. Yeah,
Dude, you walk right on in and like.
Dude, they had a gigantic wall full of nothing but WWE and WWF figures, dude.
Everything in there.
Massive amount of them.
Everything in there that's all it was wrestling. And I was the Funko Pops, and then like off to the one side there's like this little area with like 4 long whites of comics and then like a handful of like other older toys. But
Even
they
the
had
Funko
signed
Pop
photos of all the wrestler guys in there. They have like they're having events with some of the wrestlers coming out and stuff, and I was just like,
It's crazy.
This is definitely a fuzzy store.
Damn right, dude. If I ever had enough courage like Nando to open a store, or like you guys opening a store, fuck that, dude. You would walk in and be like, this corner's all wrestling, like just nothing but wrestling there. You want to come watch Monday Night Raw? Come over. We'll hang out and watch Monday Night Raw.
And it was like a really small store in a really small, like a small town. Like nobody actually like. I don't think it lives in the town.
It was like an unexpected place to find something like that.
And then everybody else. The claim to fame and what brings money to that town is the fact that it has a train depot that comes through. That's about it. And it has a toy store that's all about wrestling toys.
Probably rent there's probably fucking dirt cheap. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Well, and because they have the train depot that comes through town, that means people can come from out of town probably for cheap and shop at the store.
That's kind of clever.
Yeah.
Man, my dreams of a shop to be in California. I'd be like,
well, one of these days, Fuzzy, when you're out here in Tennessee, we'll take you to it.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm telling you, we got to plan a trip.
I'm down for a trip, Fuzzy. Whenever you want to go, I'm down for a recipe.
The Knoxville Comic Con is coming up in, was it July? I know it's right after.
Didn't you say the Three Storms were going to be there?
The Three Storms, I think, are supposed to show up for that. Or at least 2 of the 3. But I think all 3 are supposed to be there.
From Big Trouble?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's a whole, basically, well, I know that doesn't matter to you, but like almost the entire cast of the Lord of the Rings is going to be there, and they just did. Moff Gideon is going to be there.
I'm out.
No.
You guys are going to try to make me. I already know the trick. You guys are going to make me sit and watch the director's cut. You'd be like, you see this guy that's sitting over there? He was the guy that was cut out of the movie.
That's when I come to California. We're going to
sit right. That's right.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of comic guys that are going to be there too. They just keep adding new stuff because it's like there's 2 conventions. There's the Knoxville one and there's an Orlando one, and they do this one company does both of those. And
it's the Fanboy X1 Knoxville convention, July 7th to 9th.
And just remember, Fuzzy, in addition to all of that, out here in Tennessee, we have our local circuit of midget wrestling.
It's true.
See, now you gotta throw that in. Now I might be in, dude. I might just go for that. Be like, what time?
You might just move there.
Yeah, I'm into wrestling. Let's do this shit. You're gonna have to hold me back.
In the end of May, April. Yeah, the end of May. There's supposed to be a Star Wars. There's going to be a Star Wars toy convention out here. I mean, it's all going to be. There's other action figures and stuff too, but the main focus is that it's probably going to be the largest collection of vintage Star Wars toys in one area. But they're gonna have huge displays. They're gonna have a bunch of the voice actors. Oh, you know who's gonna come is the armor from Mandalorian is gonna be there, and
we swallow.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a bunch of but it's all about, I'd say 90% of it's Star Wars. They're promoting it as Star Wars, but I think there's gonna be other booths. It's gonna be a toy convention, not a comic convention per se, but they're getting a lot of the Star Wars Mandalorian actors, and that's going to be there, and that's coming up at the end of May. So that'll be fun, because that's literally in our town. It's here in Lebanon, so it's at the
then I'm going to make a suggestion. I say that you two go down there, give Jada Geek a microphone, and let him talk to Star Wars fans and see if he could crush them, see if we could turn them into the dark side of the jaded way, or if they agree, and then we could film it and then show it.
Star Wars fans these days are very brittle. They can't handle this.
He's gonna start a riot at the con. Right?
I already got it into with one of these purple-haired weirdos at Target over. He was literally trying to tell me to my face that The Last Jedi was the best Star Wars film ever. I nearly punched him in the face right there.
Even I can't defend that, dude. And that's what fuzzy meter. I wouldn't even that movie was in focus. The Last Jedi was. They lost. I was in until they did the gambling scene. That was where I was like, really?
I pointed out a couple of my issues with the film, and he didn't have much to say.
Nate,
Wait
you're
a
gonna have
minute.
to let me know which toy you're missing.
Oh.
I'll look for it at the booths out
Wait
there.
a minute. What have we here?
Which 3?
Stop.
Hey!
Latin triple X.
What?
And he's gone.
Oh.
And he's gone.
Hey,
He's still got the Latino community internet.
You scared him?
it's Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith is gonna be there
Where?
at that
Knoxville?
the Knoxville one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Joy
Oh,
Lord
good.
Adams.
I could
Oh,
throw
no.
some cabbage at him, son of a bitch.
Michael Golden
Alright.
is there. Wow. Okay, they're getting some old school artists there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they're getting some good old artists.
They keep
Mike
I follow it on my on
Mike Grell's gonna be there too.
who?
Mike Grell.
Oh yeah. It,
Mike
like they keep
Harlow.
popping up like the new people that are showing up, but they always put the actors. They never put the comic people. So I have to keep checking back every couple of weeks to see if they've added new people for the on the comic side of stuff. Because it'd be fun to meet like everybody, but at the same time, like the actors and stuff. But they charge so much for their autographs and stuff, and I'm just nah.
Well, as soon as I get back, I'm trying to go to the Pasadena
Wait,
Horror
nice.
so I can
I
get
wanna see
Robert Englund to sign. I want to get my glove signed right here by Robert Englund, and then they're gonna have a bunch of the cast members.
Why
that
would you
got
sign your
killed.
Michael Jackson glove?
Because everyone wants to be bad. So I want to get it right here, and then on each blade have the guys that got killed by it sign it and shit. Like that'll be my little trophy
I've
on
got-
my wall.
I've got an in with some of the actors from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so
When I was selling the Repro G.I. Joe packaging things, like the guy that I got the kits from, the card backs and the bubbles, his wife is sisters with one of the people that
Who got
killed,
killed?
and yeah.
Number 4 is my movie, dude. That's my favorite one. Number 4, and it's like the Fuzzy used to spike his hair because of 2 reasons. I agree. 3 is the last good story of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like that had the story, like the myth and everything like that. The 4th one is the fun one. Is the one where they said we don't give a fuck, just have Freddy, Freddy putting on sunglasses and fucking, giving the one-liners, how's this for a wet dream, and fucking kills him, you know what I mean? Like it's the best of Freddy. That's why I love it. But I love the kid in the 4th one who knew martial arts, that, and he is the brother, and he's fighting to fucking, I'll give you anything you want. I used to spike my hair with mousse just because that guy did, dude. Like him and Billy Idol were my 2 guys where I was like, they're cool and they have spiked hair. I'm gonna spike my hair too. So he's supposed to be there, so I want to meet that guy. That's when you'll see Fuzzy with this random dude next to him. You'll be like, who's that guy? That's who it is right there, dude.
Fuzzy's gonna grow out his hair just so he can spike it again.
I can't. If I could, I would.
He's gonna do those 3 hairs on top of his head. It's gonna be all
I'm
going
gonna
That's
do the
right.
Homer. I'm gonna do the Homer standing up and shit like that. Look like Kid and Play. Come on, X.
Uh-oh.
We're
Come on, you
open.
can do it.
You got this.
Si se puede.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. Hold on. I'm gonna mute it for
And
one.
there he goes.
Oh man. Oh look, you made Fuzzy run away too. Sorry, I'm like, why don't you G.I. Joe in the background? Nate, you're gonna have to send me what you're missing from your collection, and I'll see if they've got it there.
For my G.I. Joe collection?
No, your Star Wars collection.
Oh, it's the Poncho Luke.
Oh.
From the last 17.
Does he have to have all of his weapons and everything?
It's highly recommended.
Okay, I don't know how complete you are. I don't know if it's I just want the figure or I have to have everything.
Hey Liz, on that wrestling store,
Yeah.
the pops were the pops all wrestling pops?
A lot of them were, but they had other pops there too. Because somebody was walking around with like the Target dog one, and
Because a lot of the wrestling pubs are hard to, well, not hard to find, but it's like hard to find over here on this side. Like everywhere else, it's easy to find, not here in California.
And if
well,
you
we get
see
a lot
any
of the I find all
minifigures,
the wrestling ones in like Target and
See, like, there's nothing ever here in our Target or Walmart.
Walmart, and I'm trying to think where else have we gone to find. It's usually those two places, but sometimes I'll go into like Dollar General or CVS or something, or Walgreens.
They have a bunch over at Books A Million.
Books A Million had like a ton of pops that are over there too.
Because all the other pops are easy to find, except for the wrestling stuff. It's always kind of hard to get them over here, especially for Target and Walmart.
You could probably find a bunch in a landfill somewhere.
Well, if I
not those
if
stuff
I if I run across wrestling ones when we go to Target and stuff, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, see a picture. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Are we ready for a rabbit hole?
Sure.
Film
down for a rabbit hole
versus digital.
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
so all of the old, super old films are on actual film. Newer stuff is on digital, and the digital has issues, especially when it comes to restoration and whatnot, because Fuzzy, here, I'm going to hand the Coke to you. Take a drink.
Well, it's literally like what okay, so like Grindhouse movies, right? Like a lot of the times when they would show those movies, there would be 2 prints of that movie, right? So you would take it around the United States and show it to people, and by the time it got to certain places, certain scenes were clipped out of it, and so they would have like missing reels, or the sun would cook it, right? So you'd get those bubbles and stuff. So when we watch old, like if you were alive when we were alive and you're watching Terminator on channel 13, right? You know, it was edited for TV and stuff like that, but it was dark as shit. You know what I mean? You can only see certain parts now of it, but then when you watch it digitally, they're enhancing all that stuff. So you'll see shit that you've never seen before and stuff on there. And the look is crisper, but it's almost like it makes it look grainier. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they didn't have the actual print of it. So sometimes when you're watching a digital, like, enhanced version of it, it just looks weird. Like, you're just like, this doesn't look like it matches.
Well, that's if they're using those reels that they take around. But if you got the masters, if you get quality film masters, then they are, you can actually look at them, and if it hasn't degraded, you can take that and make that into any type of high definition anything based on original film that they even filmed fucking Citizen Kane on. But if you get some shit that's like from 2005 that they did digitally, there's a built-in pixelation that you're not going to be able to get into a 5K. You can get Citizen Kane into a 5K, but you can't get fucking, I don't know, pick a good movie from 2005. You're not going to get, or it doesn't even have to be good. Revenge of the Sith. There's going to be a built-in level. I said it didn't have to be good. There's going to be a built-in level of pixelation in that you're never going to be able to get, unless you dig in and
they can enhance, they can yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. They like re-gloss it. It's like like we would shoot stuff on my little camera, right? And when you would shoot it with normal lighting, it looks like a home video. You know what I mean? That's what you would do. But what you can do is you duplicate your shot, right? And then you'll lower the levels on the 2, and it'll give it that glossy look to make it look like a film. You know what I mean? So digital can be done that way. So yeah, you can take Revenge of the Sith, but you're going to almost have to re-edit the whole thing, which is easy now because it's digital. You know, everything, like there's pros and cons with it. Like I remember trying to go out to make my first movie, and I looked into how much it cost to buy film, and I was like, you got to be shitting me. Like, no way. So that means, you know, I think it was like $100 for 15 minutes worth of film. So that means that for 15 minutes that I'm pushing that button and recording, fucking, I can't have any bloopers. I can't have any mistakes. You know what I mean? Like nothing like that, because then it's going to cost me more money to film it. But when I got digital, we would just film, like just go. Like, you know, who cares if it sucks? We erase it and we put something else on there. But I'm a hoarder. I don't like to erase shit because I think there's something good in everything. So, but like, so as far as like, I love the look of film better than digital. Personally, I think it just has like a feel to it that feels good to me, like a warm blanket. But
There's a soul.
yeah, but there's no way we could do the movies we do now with film. Like there's just no way they could do it. Like besides the CGI, it's so much stuff. Like we were talking about. You guys were talking about Dungeons and Dragons last week, right? Like how, you know, Chris Pine was in there. Like I'm sure that took like 10 takes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he knew what to say, but he changed it a little bit here, he changed it a little bit there, and then that's how they found the good take to put in there. Back in the day, you had like 3 takes and that's it. You know, because film costs too damn much. So I love digital as a filmmaker, but as a watcher, as a fan, I prefer film.
It's like I get scared sometimes with like how things come out digitally, because now you can go back and you can when you're talking about enhancing, but you can re-edit stuff. Like, you know, they did that with E.T. Instead of the guns, they added the walkie-talkies, and Lilo and Stitch, instead of her climbing into the dryer, it's now a little pizza box hut. You know, that's the problem with it. You can always go back and be like, oh, what's today's day and age? You know, what's their thing right now? We can't be doing this because of this, that, and the other. And then they go back and change it makes it too easy for them to change stuff. If that was in your script, leave it in your script. And if it was a good movie, then leave it the way it was. I mean, nobody went out and did all that stuff, you know, with the walkie-talkies and the guns. You know, I never crawled into the dryer to hide because, you know, I'm just, you know what I mean? And that's my fear with digital, is that, I mean, I like the way it looks, and I'm sure it's really easy to film, and cost-wise, budget-wise, you know, I'm sure that's good. But my fear on the consumer end is that they change the things that it makes it too easy for them to change the things that you love and like to fit the modern day whatever, you know what I mean?
And that's really what we started to see with the Star Wars movies. You know, when they released the special edition back in the 90s, he was already making wholesale changes to these films, and not for the better. There's really nothing in the special edition that made the Star Wars film
90% of what he put in there, 98%. I mean, there was a couple like little things that under the speeder in the desert, it bothered him. He fixed that, but like having everything, all these creatures that just wiggled and jiggled ridiculously, it just
it hurt me in Return of the Jedi when they changed the whole music scene, the musical number in the beginning.
Oh,
that
man.
killed me. That was fucked up.
And the thing is how many re-edits has he done of the special edition since then? I think he's gone through like 5 or 6 of them. So there's like different versions of the original trilogy out there that are, you know, distinct from one another in different ways. And that's really part of that, you know, issue that Liz is talking about, where, you know, you might have a fantastic film put out, but at some point in the future, the damn thing gets re-edited so that it changes the context in some very important way that makes the dynamic of the film far different than it used to be. But let's assume for a second that we weren't living in a malicious world with a bunch of dum-dums making these kind of decisions. I think the difference between film and digital is a good portion of it anyway, is largely it's like the type of materials that you use to do painting with or artwork with. You know, if you want to make a grindhouse style film, then you're going to do it on film rather than digital. Although I'm sure with digital effects, you can probably duplicate a lot of that kind of aesthetic. But, you know, if people weren't retarded, there really wouldn't be much of a problem making a decision between film and digital in terms of putting a movie out there. It's a piece of art. You can use the medium that you want to use to tell the story. I just think there's a lot of danger in it because of re-edits, and also because if you have a film that only exists in digital, what happens when the power goes out? What happens when the internet goes down? What happens when they decide that they don't want it to be out there anymore? It's just gone. It's gone. And you never get it back. You know, I mean, yeah, unless you already have a copy. I mean, think about that with the original theatrical cuts of the original Star Wars movies. It's almost impossible to find that stuff anymore because it's been basically erased. And I know that was originally on film, but you know, it kind of illustrates the problem that when it's converted to digital, it's just like it's a ghost town. So
I still want to see that, James.
Saw it. It was good, man.
Was it?
No, my biggest thing is I get like, okay, like some of the stuff Lucas wanted to do, I get it. Like, you know, like you were saying about the speeder, the way it looked at the bottom. But at the same token, that's what made it good. Like those little things like that. Like I'm going to bring up a movie that you guys probably hate, but you ever see Grease?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a sequence when they're in the malt shop and they're talking, and if you look behind Sandy, there's a picture that's literally blurred out. It's blurred out because they didn't have the permission to use the picture after they filmed the movie. They were going to get in trouble, so they just blurred it out. Like, I've always wanted to know what was back there. I would love them to put something back there, but on the same token, I would be watching it going like, that looks weird. Like, you know what I mean? Even though it's not blurred out, you know, it doesn't match. Certain movies are made, and like the Goonies, you know, like you watch the Goonies and you know, it's not the most, like, it's a great movie. We love the Goonies, but if you watch it as far as like, if you try to like digitally enhance the, you know, the pirate ship or something like that, it would look weird because of the fact that it was legitimately there. Like they built the fucking pirate ship that these kids went and climbed up. You can't.
How much more digitally can you enhance it? It's physically there. They're not in a room imagining a pirate ship.
Right. Like that's the stuff. Like even when I remember going to first time I went on an action movie set was this movie called Relentless 4. And I was like maybe 15 years old. And they were doing a car chase. I was a fan of 1 to 3.
Once it got to 4, they jumped the shark.
Well, you're that third person that saw it. All right, cool, dude, cool. But it was like they did this car chase scene. I remember seeing it like in front of me. You know, they're driving and he fucking crashes into them. You know, everyone goes and they check and they see they're okay. And I'm like, and then he brings me the VHS tape because it didn't go to the theaters. It went straight to VH, you know, tape and shit. And I fucking watch it. And I remember watching it going like, it didn't look like that, like in person. Like it feels different on film. When you watch something digitally, like the way they can cut now with certain things, like even in that John Wick movie I just watched, like there's sequences in that movie I know there wasn't cars there. Like, you know, where he's fighting them and he's throwing them into the van and shit like that. But I'm like, it looks like it is there, but it still doesn't feel, it feels cartoonish and shit, you know, it doesn't feel real. But you give me something like Death Proof, which is kind of made recently, where Tarantino was like, no, we're gonna fucking literally crash every car you see is gonna crash. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel like you're flying through, you know, driving and shit like that. That's what I pay my money. 6 was
ready
good.
for another one?
Renfield, that's the one with isn't Nicolas Cage in that?
Nicolas Cage is Count Dracula.
Oh jeez.
And he does a great job.
That's why I want to see it. I don't even know what the plot is.
Is it more of a comedy or no?
Yeah. I mean, there was.
Is it a comedy because Nicolas Cage is acting as over the top as Dracula?
No, he did a good job. It was. Well, it's. Yeah, action comedy. It's like. It wasn't. He wasn't being Jack Burton. He wasn't blah.
You're not selling it for me.
He wasn't blah, blah. It was good. I liked it. I liked it. I was entertained. Oh, here we go.
Real American hero.
Crimson Guard. Pretty cool. Number 50. Jeez. I had ordered this a while ago. And stopped buying them since. Because they put that... this one was okay, I guess, but they removed the clear windows from the figures. Trying to not have plastic in the... Yeah, the screenplay was by Kirkman.
Robert Kirkman?
Renfield?
Yes.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I forgot to... When it came out, I was like, hey, you know who that is, babe? And she was like, no. Because why would she know? It's Robert Kirkman from The Walking Dead.
It's weird because there's that other Dracula movie that's coming out, the Demeter, about the ship that brings him into England and what happens on that ship, while they're transporting Dracula from Romania.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
It's kind of weird that you have two Dracula films that are coming out kind of back to back like that. Like what's in the air that tells them, hey, it's time for more Dracula movies.
Well, vampires are gonna.
Well, they gave Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein. That's his next thing for Netflix. I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. Like,
I'm still waiting for a Frankenstein movie that's as good as the original with Boris Karloff in it. We haven't really seen anything like that. Like when
well, isn't the original
Kenneth
Bram
Branagh.
Stoker?
Kenneth Branagh did.
Bram Stoker is the original.
No, Bram Stoker is the guy that wrote Dracula, the book.
Right. Frankenstein was written by Mary Shelley.
Right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that when Bela Lugosi might have been the first screen edition of Dracula that we saw, but that was just based on what they were able to do at the time. That was based on what they were able to pull off, but that wasn't like... That's like... It's weird to say because it's classic and it's black and white and whatnot, but it's like a Marvel movie of the comic where it's loosely based on the character, but that's not really what it was. Whereas by the time Bram Stoker came out, they actually were able to put the book together.
Yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula is definitely the best one so far, at least as far as a Dracula movie goes. But I would like to see something of that kind of quality done for Frankenstein, and I just don't think we've received that yet.
Yeah, I didn't like the Kenneth Branagh one that was supposed to be the Mary Shelley version. Yeah,
they did some weird casting on that, but there's a lot of it in there that was pulled out of. It's more of the novel. So
yeah,
when they did it, but it was over dramatized for sure. Yeah. But it was still okay.
And De Niro I didn't think De Niro was a good monster in that one. I was like, you're just trying to put a name, you know what I mean, as the monster and shit.
Yeah. Now the best rendition of Frankenstein besides the original Frankenstein is probably
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
That's right. He says a gallant man.
It's actually the novel. It's Mel Brooks' version of the novel.
Like, James, who was in that Dracula series on Netflix?
The moments that I'm always telling you guys about that I could see that just like I could be in the worst mood ever and just cheer me up is Young Frankenstein when he's fucking putting on the Ritz.
Yes.
And when Frankenstein says, I fucking cry, dude. Like I'm just like, oh my god, like that shit kills me every time, dude. Like, Doopa doopa, oopa oopa.
Well, and when he oh no, so now we're gonna have to watch Young Frankenstein.
You haven't picked a movie yet.
So many
I'm
ones.
down to watch. I could watch that any time of the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
I love Young Frankenstein.
We have all seen that, though.
Frankenstein.
I would like Liz to see The Secret of My Success.
Okay, we can do that. That's fine. I'll pick Young Frankenstein when it's my turn.
The secret of my success is literally like the movie that was like, oh, I could pull this out. Like at one point when they were asking me about remakes, like they were like, what would you remake? I said that. I was like, The Secret of My Success. And I remember the look on everyone's face, like, was just like, what? I'm like, dude, it works perfect, but we put it in the movie industry and, blah, blah, blah. And I was pitching it and they were like, just nodding their head up and down, thinking I was going to give them like, fucking Superman or, some big franchise name. I'm like, no, The Secret of My Success, dude. Or Red Dawn. I kept saying Red Dawn. They were like, they're already doing that. I was like, damn it.
We did Red Dawn.
I love the remake of Red Dawn. Like, I think I'm one of the only people that like love it. I know, dude. Like, but that was like a fucking like when I watched that movie. I remember I was sitting in the theater. That opening sequence when they're being invaded is still one of the best invasion scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Like, it's just anarchy. Like, I love it.
God,
way better than the original opening. I said it. I said it here live on the camera.
Well,
That's like I can never trust Fuzzy's damn thing for movies because god damn.
Hey, no, I can point out all the good, and just like I point the good out in you, MODOK, I can point the good out in any movie, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Your likes are horrible, shitty.
Mm-mm. Hey, I've shown I know good movies. Hey, I'll if I ever say a movie sucks, it sucks. Like I just said, I want to dance with somebody. The Whitney Houston movie, Jesus James, Christ, I want my life back.
First of all, you cannot hate Fast and Furious ever, okay? Because that's one of the greatest movies ever done. All right,
God dang right.
All right,
God dang
First
right.
Of all,
when you come to this country, okay, they ask you who the president is. Have you seen Fast and Furious? Do you know who Rocky Balboa is? These are American things that need to be Fast.
There should be a requirement to watch Fast and Furious to come into this country.
When you come to Ellis Island, dude, you should be seeing fucking Paul Walker like fucking fixing a car somewhere, dude, in the scene of the movie, dude. Like that's just.
Do we have a date for the new one?
Oh,
it's coming out like hop, skip, and a jump on my birthday, dude. On the 4th, dude. Fuzzy.
James is going. James is going to go watch it with us, no matter what. All he's sucking all this trash. He's still gonna go watch it with us. So
that's right.
I gotta time it so I can watch all the movies up into.
So we've already started at the house here. We've already started watching them, dude. Like fucking. The part that killed me was like when I was watching the behind the scenes thing about the first Fast and Furious, and they were like I've always said, it was just like a copy of Point Break. Like it's the exact same movie and shit, except with surfboards with cars. And at one point in the behind the scenes, they had written a totally different movie. Something happened. And so they're like, we got to rewrite it. And then the guy went home and he said, I watched Point Break. And I go, I know how to make this movie now. And I was like, oh, shit. That's where he really got it from, was Point Break.
Whoa.
What did
instead of who?
Weekend?
Any day.
We saw Nefarious, yeah.
Talk Nefarious, and didn't we all agree to watch Nefarious, or is it just?
Look, I told you. No, we did, and I felt bad. I looked for it. I could not find it anywhere. So I was, and like I said, I saw that one screening, and I got to choose one movie this weekend. And I had to take the boys. We had to have a boys' day and go see fucking the John Wick. So,
which is the Nefarious one?
A prisoner gets possessed by the devil.
He's been possessed. It's an inmate on death row who's having a psychiatrist come in to interview him to see if he's mentally insane. Because if he's insane, he can't be put to death. But when the psychiatrist goes in, the inmate instead tells him that he is a demon and that he's possessing this guy. and then it's the movie is basically about this psychiatrist slowly coming to terms with the fact that he's talking to a being that's not human.
Oh,
and it's a pretty intense movie.
Sean Patrick Flannery killed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. If he doesn't get it, well, he probably
he's
won't.
not going to get recognized.
But if
for
he
this
doesn't
movie,
get an
but he
Oscar
is-
nom for this one, like his acting in this was so good.
there were several scenes where his dialogue like raised the hair on my neck, and that's pretty much like the last place I have any real hair. So it was it was something else. I mean, if we go by the criteria that Nate gave, this movie easily gets 2 in every category except the influence category. It really should get
It's
it
new.
for that, but it's brand new. So,
There's no like because people are like, oh, there's demon possession and stuff. There's no
It's original.
like flying around the rooms. There's no like weird like I'm crawling up backwards and all. You know what I mean?
Fuzzy, the budget, you would love this. You would love
Yeah.
the horror that came from this movie.
They're in the
The
cell,
dialogue.
and it's all dialogue.
Yeah, see, I like that, dude.
I'm
I like that
a
shit.
big pass for that. Thank you. I'm not into horror.
No, dude, like I've always said that. Like that's one of the reasons why I love that movie, The Strangers, with Liv Tyler so much, because you watch that movie and it's literally like an old school horror movie. Like they're in a room, you got a budget of literally nothing. You know what I mean? And then you're literally like Evil Dead. That's why Evil Dead's so great. You know what I mean? Like it's literally on a shoestring budget, trying to make things work. For these horror, but then it could also backfire. Like my boy Russ made a movie called Alter Beast, and they literally stole the monster from the Matterhorn, the abominable snowman, and that's the fucking monster in the movie.
Nice.
So yeah, I want to see it because I like out of all the demon movies and the stuff like that, The Exorcism of Emily Rose is one of my all-time favorites because it's a courtroom drama. It's not meant to be like a horror movie. It's trying to prove that this really happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, you're convincing someone. Like I like that shit. Like because
Oh, he
again, you
does it
watch most
too.
of this stuff.
The
Yeah,
guy,
no, and
the guy who's
it looks
the
good.
sight guy. The sight guy. He's an atheist, like psychiatrist, psychologist, something.
Psychiatrist.
He's
a
atheist.
psychiatrist, yeah. He
And-
can prescribe you drugs. Psychologists can't. Psychologist is about the emotion. Psychiatry is about the actual medical like problem that you have. So yeah, he's a psychiatrist, and
What's
it's
glorious?
It's just it's a very like insidious and subtle sort of thing because a lot of demon possession movies, the possessed person does like crazy shit, like walking on the wall and their head goes backward and they're puking everywhere, and their mouth is open like 10 times wider than it should be and stuff. And that's not how this comes across. You really get a sense
of the maliciousness.
the
behind it.
maliciousness of this
It's
being.
more psychological, like malicious. Yeah.
This being is like straight evil and like in a real like corrupt
Fuck.
sort of way.
Glorious. That's starring. So one of you guys did share Glorious. It's the one where it stars the guy who played Jason Stackhouse in fucking what?
Oh, Nate's brain is.
Oh,
Get a thing
A
spark.
rest
so
stop
good.
men's room.
Quick,
Yeah.
take
Sounds
your
like a
headphones
fucking
off.
horror
You're gonna
movie.
start a fire.
and he meets a demon at a glory hole.
Ooh.
And he's like torturing him, and he has to fucking do something with the demon. I thought I sent you guys a thing about it, but it looks fucking
Oh.
horrible.
James, thank you. Oh no, what that glory hole?
True
that sounds
Blood.
awesome.
It was Jason Stackhouse in True Blood.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I can tell you that if it has anything to do with people doing weird shit. Like, I like this kind of, like, I don't want to say horror, but I like this kind of horror than Nefarious. Then I can't do the blood. I can't do the weird blood and guts and, you know.
Glory
No.
I
holes.
like
Glory
one
holes,
of
yeah,
one of
no,
my
I'll
favorite.
pass.
Have you guys ever seen The First Power?
No.
It's a
Yes.
it's an '80s like Lou Diamond Phillips movie and shit, but it's like what about Fallen with Denzel Washington, where the guy's
Yes.
an inmate and the
Yes.
demon can jump from touching you.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
that
the
one.
same kind of concept. The First Power, like that's the shit that freaks me out. Like I love Fallen, like as much as like that's like like not a lot of people have seen that movie, and The First Power is the same way, where it's like this cop who's going crazy because fucking he finds out there's a demon coming after him and there's no way to fucking kill it and shit. Like I like that stuff. Not like End of Days where Arnold's fucking fighting the demon or the devil and shit with his fucking shotgun and shit like that.
What was the thing in Nefarious? That was the other. There's like rules and there's things that have to happen in order. You can't just like jump ship. You know what I mean? That was kind of a different take, and it's not like you can just walk up to and touch you and then you're possessed type thing. The way that he describes the possession and the length of time, it's very.
He's a corrupting influence.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, I'm inside of you, now you're going out and you're going to be a psycho killer and do all these bad things. I mean, that happens and that's why he's in prison, but how long he's been inside this person's body and the things that he did to allow for it to fully take over. It is nefarious. I mean, the way that it's all psychological. It's yeah.
Yeah, he tells him by the time it's done, by the time that their interview's done, he will have killed 3 people.
Yeah, that's the first thing he says to him. Really, by the time this day is over, you have killed 3 people.
Yeah, you have murdered 3 people.
Murdered 3 people. Yeah. And
the psychiatrist's like, why would I do that?
And there's only like really 8 people in the entirety of the movie that actually has any lines to it. Like 98% of it is the 2 of them talking back and forth to each other, and it's just, yeah. I want to go see it again because it's one of those things that when you hear a lot of dialogue and you miss something because you hear something and you're like, wow, and you start thinking, oh shit, I just missed something else. So you want to go back and
it's one of those things like Tarantino films. One of the reasons that you watch it over and over again is because you fucking missed something in that dialogue, and that's why every time you watch it gets better because you're like, oh shit, he said that.
Yeah. But it's disturbing at the same time. It's also, it's not just like, oh, okay, just a lot of talking. It's disturbing. It's not, you know what I mean? Like I said, when you hear about these possession movies or demonic things, you're always talking about them it's more horror where you see them vomiting or moving or doing things that are creepy. And this is
like the new Evil Dead.
He could just be Joe Schmo down the street.
The new Evil Dead looks scary as fuck.
What's that?
New Evil Dead looks so scary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on seeing that in the theater. I might deign to see it at home with all the lights on and the cats locked in a different room where I can't hear them scratching because I can't be having shit running around me while I'm watching stuff like that. No.
You saw it, James? James saw it.
James saw an early screening of it, and he won't tell me anything about it.
So look, I like horror films. And I would be interested in seeing it, but the thing that I'm not going to be able to get over is that it's an Evil Dead movie and there's no Ash.
That's
the whole point. It's the whole point of the Evil Dead films is that it was him, and now we're going to have it with him. So it's.
And doesn't it take place in like a an apartment complex or like a high rise or something like that?
Yeah, it's just. Man.
I don't know. I've been trying not to watch trailers. Like I just want to go in blindly and.
It's been in every because it was on Renfield, it was on Nefarious.
Yeah.
It was and it was like fuck it. It's everywhere.
What is?
The previews. For the trailer for this is showing up. It's showing up in my feed a lot now too. I'm like, no, you can't do
For reals. Me and my wife are gonna go watch it this week probably. And
Just
the fucking
just
trailer.
poster
The
thing.
trailer's fucking
She's
scary.
got her head and she's just like.
I know. I love that scene in the trailer where she's just the girl's looking through the people and she's like, "Let mommy give you a kiss." I was all, fuck that, dude. Like, fuck that. Like, no, that's
No.
scary shit.
I'm not saying, James, that I hated the Evil Dead remake. It just doesn't feel like an Evil Dead movie to me.
Wait, did we watch the Evil Dead remake?
I've seen the remake, the because he kind of has that cameo at the end of it, but it's just not. I don't know.
There was an Evil Dead remake.
I love
I must have
like
missed that one.
me and the kid are watching Ash versus the Evil Dead right now. Like, we're watching it right now on Netflix, you know, and he's like, he was kind of grossed out when the guy got sucked into the asshole and the dick was in the guy's face and stuff like that. But like, other than that, like, he was like, after that part, he kind of was just like, I kind of like this. I'm like, I told you, man, like, Ash is cool. I was like, Ash is a cool guy. Like,
Was the morgue
legit.
the first season, or was it the sperm bank
Second
the first
season. The morgue, or maybe the morgue was the second season.
So the sperm bank was the first season? Because they did the same bit in each season, or like the first two seasons, didn't they? Like that, because he goes into like the morgue, and that's where like the dead bodies like chasing him around, and like the penis is in his face and stuff. But then in the second season, the same kind of silly thing happens where he goes to check out if he's got a kid or something. And he ends up in the sperm bank, and like she starts throwing like the sperm at him against the wall.
Oh, that's right, and he keeps getting hit with it, dude. That's right, dude.
So gross.
Dude, I love, like, he is a big time underrated actor. Like, his delivery of things is just classic. You know, like, in anything, Bubba Hotep, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And so, like, I will sit and watch anything that he's in. Like,
I found out,
you know,
we found out at Bruce Arama that he's actually been in a couple of Hallmark movies, and now I kind of want to go see him.
He has his Christmas Hallmark movies that he's done. He's in 2 of them.
He's just a great period. Like, you know, and I mean, the only thing I hate to say it like that I hated him in was in the Doctor Strange thing. Like, I was kind of like, this is just stupid, dude.
Well,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is he does a lot of these like cameo bits whenever Sam Raimi does like a big budget film, and I'm like, you're wasting him on cameo bits.
He was in Hercules and Xena too.
Yeah, he was Autolycus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was Autolycus in Hercules and Xena. He
Briscoe County.
I was just
about to say Briscoe County was great, dude.
All trades. The guy's done a lot of roles.
No, you know, one of my other favorite ones for him was, and it didn't get brought up, was his X-Files episode.
Oh,
he
yeah.
has there's an X-Files episode
where he's a demon,
and he's trying to just have a kid, and his kids come out, and he can change himself to look like.
That's cool, James.
It's just that episode is actually really good, and it shows the breadth of his like acting ability, because there's a little bit of comedy, a little bit of goofball, but there's a lot of drama because you can feel how sad he is because he just wants a child. It's one of those things where a guy wants a kid, he wants a child, and it's just not happening, and he, you know, all this it's a heartbreaking episode, but it's really good. It's one of the few, it's later season, but so good.
Well, no one could play Elvis better than Bruce did in Bubba Hotep. And
you know,
best line ever.
I saw an early screening for Bubba Hotep, and he was there, and he took like a bunch of questions from the audience, and one of the audience members asked him, you know, have you found out from Priscilla or Lisa Marie whether or not they like this movie? And he was like, well, he goes, I haven't spoken to anybody in the Presley family, but let's all be honest. Wouldn't you rather see Elvis like this than what happened in real life? Like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Best opening line still to this day is Bubba Hotep. I had a pimple on the tip of my dick, and I wanted to call it Priscilla and pop it.
What is it? I don't know. I'm not some kind of ichthyologist.
I don't know. That thing was in there looking like some kind of Bubba Hotep.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
It's a classic.
The short story that's based off of is really good too. Joe Lansdale, he does it's called Southern Fried Horror is what he writes. He does like Hap and Leonard. There's that TV show Hap and Leonard. That's like a but Lansdale's done a lot of this like Southern Fried Horror. And this Bubba Hotep was one of his stories, and I remember reading the original story. And Josh is like, "Hey man, Matt got me and him tickets to go see Bruce Campbell's movie called Bubba Hotep," and I was like, "Wait, what? Wait, you mean is it about Elvis and a black JFK?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is based off of that." It was really good.
You know, and how can we forget one of Bruce's more recent roles when he was Sam Axe in Burn Notice? He was great in that show too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I when Bubba Hotep came out, I used to get the Entertainment Weekly magazines, and it was just a little article about it, and I read the plot, and I went, "Holy shit, I got to see this. This sounds amazing. Okay, let's go." And I had to like hunt for that movie, just find it in a theater because it was like nowhere. And I found it in this little small theater, and I think I was like one of the only people in there busting up laughing. Like I was dying laughing. Like I was like, "Oh, this is great." And then I came home and I showed it to my girlfriend, which is my wife now. I was like, "You got to see this fucking movie. It's so good." And I showed it to her. She's like, "This is the stupidest shit." I was like, "Dude, it's awesome." Yeah, she's my barometer of what an everyday person kind of would think of the movie, because she don't go into movies like how we do and stuff like that. So if she really likes it, I'm like, "Oh, it might do good, like it might be a pretty good movie and shit."
It was kind of fun though at that screening that we did, because we saw Evil Dead 2, but like it was also kind of sad because most of the people in there only know him from Evil Dead.
Right.
That's it. You know what I mean? Those 3 movies and the TV show, and like that's it. That's all they know him from. They don't know him from anything else, because part of because there's the game show that happened beforehand, Last Man Standing, and one of the categories was basically you have to name the movie or TV show that Bruce was in based off of a character from that show that they get. Nobody knew any of them.
I'm like screaming at him,
like,
"Come on!"
What the fuck are you doing up there? God dang Wi-Fi! I should be up there. But it was a fun experience to see, because I've never seen him I've never seen him in person. I see him when I'm at a convention and I pass him in the hallway. Like I'm coming out of the bathroom and he's like going into like the men's room or something. And hello, lady, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that was Bruce Campbell," stuff like that. But I've never seen him really like do a talk. It was a lot of fun. He's a very entertaining individual, and he's got a lot of funny stories.
Kind of like Fuzzy.
Yeah, it's just people in the movie industry. That's what it is. You guys just have all these weird and fun stories. And he gets animated like you do too. He does like a little dance, and he does like his like mannerisms when he's talking and stuff. And I'm just like, it also must be just a person thing.
Maybe he smokes a little of the fuzzy stuff like I do, and that's what helps us.
I'm sure he does. He did tell us a story about the first time he smoked out. It was on the Evil Dead set.
The first Evil Dead.
First Evil Dead, and he said things went bad. Some of that stuff ended up in the movie.
Well, I'm fucking excited because I'm excited but sad, but my favorite show of all time is coming to an end. And they just aired the first episode, and I literally had a tear out my eye. That show, Barry, is the greatest show on HBO right now, dude. Everyone keeps talking about Succession. It's all about Barry. One of the greatest. Like, if you haven't seen it, you guys should sit down and watch it, because it's coming to the end right now. It's so good. Like, that dude.
Succession is amazing.
I haven't seen Succession, so I ain't saying like Barry is the one. Barry is the one.
Don't have Apple TV. Don't watch Barry
I don't
or
have
Succession.
Apple. Gotta watch Barry.
Apple TV. It's on HBO.
What's going on Apple TV?
There's a bunch of interesting stuff that's coming up, but we don't have Apple TV either.
I don't have Apple TV either. But HBO Succession is fucking phenomenal.
We have HBO.
But it's an HBO though. If you have HBO.
What's
if
Succession
you
about?
Rich,
I
these
want to
rich
see
kids.
Tetris, James. I'm going to see that. I have
Oh
that on
yeah,
my
Tetris.
list.
That is one I wanted to see.
You realize no matter how, no matter if you're poor, rich, or whatever, if your parents, the way you grew up, you're certain way you grow up. If your parents are dicks, you grew up all screwed up. Even if you're poor or rich, it's the same fucking thing. And it's a great show. You guys have to see it.
And it's on HBO.
Yeah, it's on its third season.
What's Barry about?
Killer, right?
Let me tell you about how great Barry is. Barry is about a guy. He was a hitman, and he comes to California to kill this guy. And when he comes, he ends up having to go into an acting class that this guy's in, that Henry Winkler is the teacher of. And he,
is Henry Winkler playing Henry Winkler?
He's playing a bootleg version of himself, every character in this show is unique and fucking awesome, like in their own way. Like there's an albino Russian mobster that you don't know if he's gay, you don't know if he's straight. He's on that line and stuff like that, and
so he's gay.
The dark humor in this show is fucking brilliant. And what's his name? The actor, the main character. He's the guy that used to be on Saturday Night Live, and he would do the weekend updates, and he would always play that guy, and he'd be like like that and shit.
I know the actor you're talking about, but I don't know.
Is that Bill Hader?
It's Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. This is his show, so he wrote it. So it's got a ton of comedy in it, but it's dark comedy, like super dark comedy. Like you should not be laughing at the shit that they have on the show. And he's badass. Like he literally plays a badass that's losing his mind. And this one now he's in jail. It's getting dark and stuff. So it's hella good. Hella good.
Okay. When I catch up on everything else, we'll add that.
I gotta try to find a charger. Hold on.
Oh, is that what Succession is about?
Yeah. It's
what?
Like I said, these three kids are so fucked up in the head. There's the dad. They're basically they hate their dad, but they're trying to find his approval no matter what. It's so bad.
I think I've seen the preview for that, or the commercial for it.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
It's really good. You guys should just see it. It's a really good show. Comes out on Sundays, every Sunday.
Well, we'll have to go back and catch up on it then.
Yeah, the third season just started, so it's barely on the third episode.
It's hard to find time for all that because we're working our way through the Next Generation Star Trek series from back in the 90s. So we just got done with season 2, and we've got 5 seasons to go.
Yes.
And so
how many episodes is in a season on that show?
That was back in the day. It was 20 plus
25, right? Or something like that. 25, 26
episodes. It's crazy. It's crazy to go back and watch those because every episode is great. The acting is great. The stories are great. There's humorous episodes and scary episodes, and there's all these different dynamics taking place. And then you think, how is it that a lot of the modern shows can't even do 8 episodes right? And back then they were hitting entire seasons of 20, 25 episodes, knocking it out of the park. What happened? Crazy.
James says, yeah, I did that. It got rough. I did not keep going, LOL.
Did not keep going for what? The Next Generation?
Well, I want to see the new season of Picard because they all come back. So Liz was the hugest Star Trek nerd. Yeah. And Next Generation, that was really, I saw the originals, but the Next Generation was my generation Star Trek, and I love that show. I still will be watching episodes and I'll be just by the name, I'll be oh, this is the episode that this happens, and I start quoting stuff. And I remember the dialogue. That's how nerdy
When the
and how
walls
many
fell?
times I watched it. So, dude, I watched all of Next Generation constantly. I watched the first couple of seasons of Deep Space Nine and like maybe the first and second season of Voyager, and then I don't know I know that the Voyager got back, but I don't know how they got back. I know that Deep Space Nine had something to do with but the problem is you have to kind of like watch some of that stuff to understand what's going on in the last season of Picard, I guess. So we might have to go and break down and watch. We might have to do a full-on Star Trek nerddom. But yeah, Next Generation, it was, it's amazing how cool how good these stories were, and how funny the actors were, and how good these actors were. You think, fuck, it's Star Trek, but like
the chemistry between these actors is obvious.
It's very well done. And even when they had that break in the second, because they killed somebody off in the first season, and then in the second season they got rid of the doctor. They swapped out the doctor characters because of there's like stuff that happened behind the scenes. But
Gates McFadden got pregnant.
No, that's not why she got written off, because one of the writers in there just didn't like her.
That's what she's saying.
And so, because one of the writers didn't like her,
that's when they brought Pulaski in.
Yeah, so we just got finished with the Pulaski season, and those episodes were good too. But you could tell that they didn't have the same, like, they just didn't mesh as well, and so they end up bringing her back. They brought Gates McFadden back. They convinced her to come back, and yeah, but.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince Liz James that we need to go through and watch all of DS9 and all of Voyager before we get to the new Picard stuff, but she's not there yet.
Well, no, now because I keep getting spoilers about the new season of Picard, because they're talking about how, like, the Odo's character from Deep Space Nine, like, his species is part of the problem, and you have to watch Voyager because 7 of 9 is from Voyager, and she's like a major character, and the Borg and all that stuff. So he probably won't have to convince me too much to watch all that, because I never saw it. That's what I heard too. I stopped watching.
I watched all of TNG. I watched a couple of the Deep Space Nine, like James said, but I stopped watching it because they weren't ever going anywhere. It was like they were in a hospital and drama came in and out of the place, but it wasn't like anything was happening. And then he says it got good with the war.
Yeah.
But and then Voyager, I never even watched Voyager. Then they brought Jerry Ryan on there, and she was kind of hot. I watched a couple episodes just to look at her, but then it wasn't enough to keep me engaged.
Fuzzy, I'll have to find the episode for you for Voyager, Fuzzy, because there's the wrestling episode. They end up on a planet, and they end up in like kind of a gladiatorial like arena type place. It's 7, and I can't remember who the other Voyager character was. But they act, because that's when Paramount, what was it? UPN. They had the wrestling rights on UPN for a while.
Yeah.
And so because the Star Trek was also on that same channel, they brought some of the wrestlers into The Rock's in that. Like one of the Voyager episodes, I think it's The Rock. It's not the Ultimate Warrior, Kane. Is that character? Yeah, like there's a couple of, it was one of those weirdo painted guys that always comes in with all the action.
Dude, I'm down. I'll watch Star Trek for that.
I'll find out which episode that was, and I'll send you, or I'll let you know to see if you can find it, because I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But yeah, I remember that was like right when I stopped watching it, because I remember seeing the commercial for it, and I was like, oh shit, it's The Rock. And yeah, so they have to fight in this arena, but they were fighting with like the wrestlers that they brought in. It was like a cross-mogenation, because the network, like I said, UPN had the wrestling for a while, because I remember that.
There was 2 guys who I went to high school with, Larry and Michael. Larry was a year older than me, and Michael was a year younger than me. I met Larry in 9th grade, and we used to sit in the cafeteria and just fucking bag on people. it was pretty brutal, but we got really good at it because that's all we did for like a year. And then he was like my best friend in 9th grade, and I used to go to his house and airbrush Star Trek models.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael, I had his younger brother Michael in my film class, and that was when I was a senior. And him and his buddy Sean were the only juniors in the class, but both of them were hardcore. They were super hardcore into Star Trek, and when I hung out with them, I was into it too. And they both got a job working for NASA. They both work for they work at JPL for NASA. Crazy.
That's so cool. Yeah.
I never watched the shows. Like I watched the originals for like the campiness and this nostalginess. Like I like them for that. But I watched the movies. And the movies that got me were the Next Generation movies. Those were the ones like the other ones, I was like, okay, they're okay. But when I watched what's the one after Generations? It was before
First Contact. The Borg.
Was it the Borg one?
Yeah,
because that's the one. That's the one I was like, oh, this is great. Like this is fucking awesome. Like I love this movie. Like show me more of these Star Trek films. So I was like, yeah, dude.
Where they had to go back in time because the Borg went back in time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I can't remember what the next one was called, but that's the one where F. Murray Abrams is in that.
Yeah.
He played. That's like the found a youth planet where everybody stays on the planet. They stay young, and yeah, that one was a good one too. Nemesis is kind of like
and then when they did the reboot with the new one, that was my birthday movie, and we went and saw it. And I was telling my wife, I was like, man, I'm a Star Wars guy. Like, there's no way I could watch this. You know, like I can't believe I'm doing it. And I walked out of that movie theater, and I looked at her. I was like, let's go to Kmart, and I want to get every fucking Star Wars toy or Star Trek toy they got for this movie. This thing is badass.
And they didn't have any?
No, they didn't. They were all. I got one of the phasers. That was dope, but
I think I still have my tricorder, the Playmates, because I think Playmates was the one that had them at the time. And I had my tricorder, and I don't know if I still have that either, but I had because as you go through Next Generation, they jump around a lot. But I have the communicators, so I've got all the different pins of all the different like symbols that they've changed over the years, and yeah, I was a big Star Trek nerd, like big time nerd, big time. I forgot how much except for when we go back and start watching it, and I'll start quoting it, and Josh will he sits in the chair and he spins the chair and he looks at me. I'm like, sorry, like.
Yeah, she'll be reciting the dialogue for these episodes that are like 30 years ago.
Shaka when the walls fell.
That's right.
Jogla Tanab at Tanagra.
That's the next season, I think, is that one.
I can't wait for Gowron the Klingon to show up. He was always my favorite with his like bulging eyes and that smile like, yeah, I'm going to eat your face.
There's so many good, they're so good. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about diving into Deep Space Nine and Voyager again, but I guess I should figure out how they got back. It's a Federation space, but we'll see. Yeah, Lower Decks, that's the animated one, I think. And I don't know. Let me work through my old school before I get into the new school stuff.
So when are you guys going to Vegas?
We're leaving next Thursday night, and we'll be there till Monday.
Yep.
So you'll probably see some videos from us.
By Monday, we'll be dying. By Monday,
yeah,
Buddy's gonna be looking like that by Monday.
That's right. I'm gonna have it. Oh shit, I'm broke.
So you gonna be able to do this next Monday, Fuzz?
Yeah, I'll do it. As long as me and Steve are back me and Havoc are back by then we'll be good. We should be. We're me and Havoc wake up and we eat and we get the hell out of there.
Yeah, we just eat and leave. We don't stay there. We just wake up whenever we wake up, and then we'll just eat something good or not even eat.
Is Tommy Cave going up there with you guys?
We wake up, I clean Steve's face off real quick, and then fucking we get going, dude.
Use the
fucking
handkerchief.
Fuzzy could barely walk. He has to, woggle all the way to the room. But
Yeah, are Isaac and Jose and Lego going with you guys?
yeah, Isaac's they're supposed to go. Nando's going with his wife. I'm not sure
Are
with
Brandon
Jose.
and Tyler going again? Fuzzy
I
Savior.
I don't think
That's
they
right.
I don't think they are. I saw them in WonderCon. I don't think they're gonna be there this year.
Oh,
Since
Fuzzy.
since they changed the dates.
Oh.
This it's usually in June. Like, it's usually in June, and last year it was in September, October. Well, this year it's in April, so it's way earlier than usual.
Is he
It's
still going to
cooler.
do the Hawaii one?
I don't think he's doing the Hawaii anymore.
Oh.
I think they're just doing everything with with Vegas.
Okay.
But there may not any more people because I just realized today they just announced that Dan Jurgens is no longer had to cancel. That's one of them, the guys that I wanted to really see. I was like, God damn it!
Yeah, me too. I know. I had my Action Comics 1000 ready
Yeah.
to do me a little sketch on.
Yeah, so I was ready. I had a bunch of books ready to go for him, and he canceled. But then they added Adam Kubert, so I'm like, okay,
Oh. He'd be fun to meet.
yeah.
He's the one that did that artwork for you that got stolen.
But most importantly, Greg the Hammer Valentine is going to be there at my booth, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you come for that guy.
We're going to end it on a high note then, huh?
Fuzzy. I want proof. Have him call me.
Oh, I will. That'll be no joke. I'll make him make you a video, dude. I'll give him a couple beers. You know what I mean? And fucking that's right. What do you mean? Who?
Yeah, Nando's gonna fly out there to.
Just in time, Nando.
I think Nando meant to say "woo."
I know we're getting ready to wrap up, and the sumbitch just comes in.
Better late than never.
That's right. He had things to do. He has to price out all those comics that he bought.
Yeah, dude. It's a nice little collection he got, dude. I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
nice.
he showed me the collection. I was like, wow. Yeah, he did really good.
I might be
I didn't
getting
get any pictures. Darn you, Nando.
No, I touched him.
Let me live vicariously through it.
We did a late session iPhone session, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is incredible.
Nice.
Yeah,
my wife just walked in here wearing glasses, and ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. Fuzzy is excited. It's about to go down, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, guys.
All right, well, let's let Fuzzy go and play Sexy Librarian. See you guys next week. Have fun in Vegas.
Well, no, Vegas won't be until
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Well, not this week.
Yeah, so we'll be good next week.
We'll be good next week. The following week, Nate, is the one that we'll be tired over here.
Love, peace, and Popeye's grease, baby. That's right. We're gonna Winnie the Pooh that shit right now.
All right, guys.
All right. See you guys.